Hi everybody, welcome to Chapter 17 in our Glickman Gordon text. This is going to be our one-shot look at professional development. We're going to talk about professional development a lot throughout almost every course that we have, but this is going to be our one way of looking at professional development. It has a poor reputation in schools, but I argue that it has a poor reputation at schools because not a lot of people understand what good professional development looks like, and that can create one of your biggest struggles and one of your biggest challenges as well. One of the arguments that I've always made is that professional development, as bad as teachers think it is a billion times worse for principals. It is exponentially worse for principals because administrators don't get it to benefit them. They get it to train teachers. So you go to professional development, you're not getting it as a school principal so that you can better your practice and be a better principal. You are getting it so that you can unveil a new program and push it out to teachers. So teachers are getting professional development. You as a principal, you're probably not. When you find a model that works, you have to find a way to stick to it and modify it so that it benefits your teaching staff and everybody feels comfortable with it. So, good professional development programs sustain and last over time. They have a breakthrough component, and I cover this extensively in the DOT class, where we find ways that they benefit the school building, they can be used for future years, they're not a one-shot deal, and the focus of these are really improving instruction. As the teachers learn the model and they learn the program, things get significantly better, and as time goes on, they're going to have more experience with it, and it's just going to be part of the culture and part of the community. When administration understands the programs, then it becomes part of the strategic plan, and you can put it in your 1-year, 3-year, 5-year, and 10-year projection because you know it's going to be around for a while. Sustainable professional development is what you're striving for as educators. So administrators also try to find ways for teachers to collaborate with each other. When teachers are doing, when teachers are collaborating with each other in a beneficial and effective way, that's great. Because then they're going to buy into the program more and they're going to see the benefits of it. You need to make sure there is self-reflection built in and also team reflection so that you can talk to each other about the program. The data has to be qualitative and quantitative. So many times in professional development, we see that the biggest issue more than anything else is the fact that it's just quantitative data and based on test scores. You have to get data from the students, from the teachers on how the program went, what could be improved on it, and find ways that can improve your leadership capacity as well. That's another big idea of this model. So, all members of the school-wide community should in some form be involved in the process. It has to be school-wide, but it also has to be adjusted to represent the demographics of the community and the perspectives of building leaders. So many times I see professional development in these large school districts where every elementary school gets the same model, but some elementary schools have so much differences in terms of race, socioeconomic status, even age of the parents that are in the district, and the model doesn't account for that. You have to account for the talents of the building too. How long has the staff been teaching? How many years experience do they have? Is it a new principal? Is it an experienced principal? Because sometimes these models work in some buildings, but not in others. So we are moving away from this era in this notion that professional development is not a one-shot workshop in a 60-minute speech. We're getting away from it, which I think is good. Some models are stronger than others, but they give you opportunities that you might not have had. One of the easiest ones that we've seen that's really grown over the last few years is this notion of the beginning teacher assistance program. All of you probably have some sort of mentorship program at your district. I won't bother to ask you whether or not that's an effective mentorship program at your district. There's some difference of opinions on these. In theory, they should provide resources to teachers, explain policies and procedures, and support what they expect the teachers to encounter. I think these work better when the assistant principal runs them, because the principal can then focus on instructional development and the assistant principal's worried about running the mentorship program. I have found that to work and be effective. If there are certain skills that the principal feels that the teachers need, one of the best things that you can do is engage in skill-based professional development. With these are things that are workshops. Understand how to engage students better. Use technology better in your classroom. How can we use the library as a resource? How can we do the multiple intelligences? All of these. But here is my problem with this model and why I do not buy into it. Because most of the time school districts make these, you have to go to 3 in a year, or you have to volunteer to go for them. The people that attend these are ones that volunteer to. They want to be there. And the ones that need it the most, they don't go. So when you do these, you need to make sure that if you're doing skill development, the principal and the assistant principal or instructional coaches have input over what models people need to see. I think that is a big, big, big idea. The other thing that we're seeing throughout the United States is this notion of teacher centers, where there's a central location where teachers can work together, plan instructional practice, gather materials. Oklahoma has county centers. I'm sorry, many states other than Oklahoma, like Florida, have county centers. Ours in Oklahoma are done more at the university level. We have university days and university centers for teaching. I think it's siloed. It would be nice if districts cooperated with each other, but once again, I think that's something else that's easier said than done. So when you see Teacher Institute, my experience with Teacher Institute has been that has been a state-led, state-driven program that's been rolled out. If there's something that needs to be changed at the state level, the districts have to implement them. You send teachers to these Teacher Institutes over the summer, and then you have them train the other teachers in the building, an administrator goes, and you see what those look like. One of the ones that you obviously experienced here was the initial training for Common Core. This was done really as a teacher institute, and the teachers were trained on the procedure, and they were expected to do it in a manner that they understood and that they supported. Whether or not that happened, I'll let you be the judge of that. Collegial support groups, a lot of this work that we've seen throughout education, it's done in the form of this social network research. And when I say social network research, it's how people form bonds and how they become friends. In a lot of ways, teachers do this with people who are similar to them. They have similar beliefs, similar interests, and then they work and collaborate on professional development together. I find that more can be done in these types of support groups than formal ones than anything else, and it tends to work. So building on that, this whole idea of network analysis, I really look at this is this idea of teachers sharing information through computers, meeting face-to-face occasionally, but having professional development that's computerized and computer-driven. And this can work, and it can benefit all the teachers in the program, and that can be good. Teacher leadership, this can be either led by the university or the district. I have found that many districts are starting to get into recognizing teacher leaders as teacher leaders. However, they're also not paying them anything extra. So that can be a challenge, and that's across the United States. One of the keys to this is really that trainings have to make sure that if somebody is going for teacher leader training, they need to find a way to partner with the person at the district level that's doing curriculum instruction, so that teacher can work at the district level and it can bounce back to other buildings in the district. And if you do that, that's an effective way that can help you and work with you on your teaching practices. Our dream world, which doesn't exist and will never exist, is that we have individually planned professional development. This is something where everybody selects their own methods. We do this with our students. We're moving towards IEPs for many of our students. When you do individually planned professional development, you have to make sure that the teacher has a purpose for it and they know what they're hoping to gain from it. It comes, most of the time it comes from us is university professors. We're the ones that are working with you who are technically here for individual professional development. You may not care about this class, you may not care about the leadership class, but you might really care about the finance class. Then that's your individual professional development. what we hope you do is you take things that you're learning at the college level, move them and take them back with you to your institution. Can you do that? Will you do that? I don't know. I think that's another thing that kind of depends as well. University and school partnerships. I'm a firm believer in this, and I think this is one of the most important things you can do. If you can find a way to have beneficial partnerships for the university and the school district, it helps everybody. It makes the school district thrive and flourish, and the university does well. And a smart university partnership recruits their teachers from the pre-service teachers at the university that are the best. If they see that there is a strong buy-in at the university level, this can do a lot in helping build success there. So individualized professional development, really this is when you can send somebody off somewhere because there's something they enjoy. It's very similar to individually planned professional development. If it's a training or practice that's supported and they want training, they can go, or, which doesn't happen, but I believe could happen, if the district was more involved in picking people to go to training because they feel they need it, that could be initiated by the school district or the building principal to benefit the teacher. So there are 3 stages in the professional development plan: orientation, integration, and refinement, and we're going to talk about each one of these. When you're doing orientation with professional development, it is critical that the teachers understand why you are doing it. You are telling them what the benefits are, you're explaining how it can help them improve their instruction in their class, and you're also showing them when the professional development is going to take place. Teachers will not buy into, we're going to do this method in August and we're not going to visit it again in November. If you want teachers to buy into the professional development methods that you're using, give them a clear schedule, show them that it's dedicated and it's going to be a commitment and a vision for the school year. When you integrate it, you're making sure that they have a full application of the model in their school. They have to know how to apply it to specific parts of their job. This is why I kept commenting on demographics. They have to see how this model can work in a classroom. How would guided reading work in a classroom where you have 25% of your students could be absent on a given day? What could you do? What methods could you use to engage those students in small class instruction while you're working with the rest of the class and have them on topic with something else? The teacher has to understand the model, relates it to their context, and qualified supervisors should help them relate it to their context. You refine professional development when the teachers actually show you that they get it, that they understand what the model looks like, and they can give you actual fine-grained results and say, hey, I did professional learning communities for a year, it improved my professional practice, here's how, here's the data, here's how I can learn more about it next year to improve even better. When a teacher can do this, it's acquired knowledge, and then it's no longer professional development. And when most of your teachers can do it, you shove the method off because it's ingrained in their practice anyway, and then you add something new. Remember, don't inundate teachers with a bunch of different stuff that they have to be doing. You want to make sure that you're targeting what they need to know and not overdoing it for them. So, some key questions in evaluating professional development. I think all of these are fair, and I think all of these are things that you have to ask yourself. You know, was the professional development well organized? Was it relevant to my work? Was it consistent to the school improvement goals that were presented to me? Does it contribute to the overall professional development that's going on in the district? Could I participate in it? Could I give my feedback? Was I able to collaborate with other teachers? Were there plans where I could continue to learn from it? Was I able to reflect? Am I a better leader now? And can I improve student learning from that experience? So this is the most important point, because if teachers don't take responsibilities for professional development, then nothing ever happens and nothing is ever accomplished. Supervisors can hold them accountable, but if a teacher doesn't say, this is my own learning, this is my own work, nothing is going to get accomplished from professional development. So the last chapter of Glickman is action research. We're going to visit that at the very end of the course. I only go over this a little bit here, but it's a big portion of doctoral instruction, because at the district level, you're going to be doing a lot with action research. So I'm going to cover this, go over the basics of it, and that's going to be how I present it in here. If there's anything else I can do to help, please let me know. Want to make sure that I'm giving you the best experience I possibly can in this class, and hope you're getting something out of it. Thank you.